comics working today, his name is really fun to say. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Burr!
Thank you. How are you? How's it going? Still got some life in you? Awesome. I can't wait for these elections to be over. You know? It's like enough already. Just fucking pick somebody. How many more goddamn debates are gonna be, right? 1,000 points of light, health insurance trickling down, everybody gets applesauce. Doesn't matter. I want to find an honest guy. You know what I mean? Some guy who's just gonna get on TV and be like, look, in order for this whole thing to work, at least 2/3 of you need to just go to the beach and walk into the ocean. There's only so much chicken and fresh water left. If you're not in that upper third, just be honest with yourselves. You know, they should have auditions. Whatever you do, you gotta audition to still be here, right? You're a plumber, fix that sink better than 70% of the other fuckers, and that's it. Put some wrenches in your pocket, go to the beach, and out you go. Yeah, straight across the board. Dentists, comedians, I'd do it. I'd stand in a line with a bunch of clowns, right? Tumblers and shit. I wouldn't make it. I wouldn't. No, I take comfort in knowing that. There's no way I'm making it. I'm useless. I am. I'm 44. I'm not married. I don't have any kids. Why am I still here? Just another person taking up space, walking into a Starbucks. Oh, Sheryl Crow CD. Right? Why am I here? I have a horrible science background. Do you know cruise ships blow my mind? Blow my mind. I don't get how something that big and metal can float. I don't get it. Makes no sense. And there's always some nerd there to try to explain it. Well, the area times the mass. Oh, fuck you with your magic. I don't get it. It's got a smokestack. It's got an anchor. Right? Dude, explain the pool. How can you have a pool on a boat? You dug a hole in the boat, filled it with water, you got fat people going in it. That's game, set, and match. Speaking of nerds, when is the nerd epidemic just gonna end? Like, when is the nerd bubble just gonna burst? They're fucking everywhere. Every show, they got some guy with black frame glasses. Oh, I'm kind of awkward. I don't know how to talk to the opposite sex. Like, this is supposed to, like, inspire me? You know, when I was a kid, nerds had shame. They had shame. They had horrible days at school. They were stuffed in lockers, left there overnight reading whatever they could find. Then in the mornings, janitor let them out, and then they got the shit kicked out of them for wearing the same stuff 2 days in a row. Now they're walking around all proud, double pocket protectors, black socks yanked up. This is what happens when you get rid of bullying. It is. When you get rid of a species' natural predator, it just grows exponentially. Actually, Nerd Jesus died in the last year, right? Steve Jobs. Yeah, he died, right? I know, a lot of nerds here tonight. I know, you're sad. I didn't get it. I didn't get the big deal they made about that guy. When he died, they were like, he changed the world. That was insane. He changed the world. The world was one way, and then Steve Jobs came, and it was another. What did he do? Somebody, for the love of God, what the fuck did that guy do? What did he do? He told other people what to invent? I want my entire music collection in that phone. Get on it! Right? And then these poor, nameless, faceless scientists got to go in a back room and figure it out. How the fuck are we going to get all of this into this? I mean, what year does this guy think this is? This is crazy. This is like Buck Rogers. Dude, my kid has a birthday in like 11 months. Steve Jobs just walking by. I don't hear any thinking going on in there. Just strutting around the office, eating some pretentious fruit like a pear, right? Just throwing out ideas. There's another one. There's another one I just came up with on the way to work. I was reading a magazine the other day, turning pages, you know? I like to turn pages on a screen that aren't even there. Yeah, wrap your fucking heads around that, guys. See you in 8 years. Where you going, Michael? Big, little, get on it! Right? And all these people slave away to make his vision come true. And then they have the big nerd fest, right? Down there at Comic-Con and all their nerd mecca. They're all showing up with their Acne and their Hulk shirts, limping into the arena, right? Does Steve Jobs go out with a whole chorus line of scientists? No, he goes out there by himself. Sneakers and no belt, like it was no biggie, right? like he's Tesla, tapping into the atmosphere. I know, this is always uncomfortable. I know, you bought into it, right? That whole advertising, the way they aligned themselves with some of the greatest people of all time. Jesus, Gandhi, me. Remember that? Muhammad Ali, John Lennon, this guy. How the fuck was that dude like any of them? Gandhi didn't have a sweatshop. Nah, he didn't have people leaping to their deaths only to catch a net and get ricocheted back through the window to have to put together yet another iPad. John Lennon didn't have children in his basement pressing those fucking albums. I know. New phone can't fit the old charger. This is your hero? This is the guy? This is what all the silence is about? New phone can't fit the old charger, so then you gotta throw it out, ends up in the ocean around some octopus's neck. Do you realize how much sea life is ecstatic that that man is no longer walking the earth? That's where it all ends up, you know. Doesn't go in a landfill, ends up in the ocean. You realize that? I hate people who say I don't pollute. I don't pollute. Yeah, you do. You use shit and you throw it out. Well, you think because you put it in like a basket, it just poof, disappears? Everything you ever used is somewhere. You ever think about that? Remember that flannel shirt you bought back in the day when you got into Pearl Jam? That's out there somewhere. Probably on some porpoise's face. He's trying to get it off. Stupid little flippers. All the fads. You remember rollerblading? Remember that? Everybody had them. We set up cones, we did little tricks, right? One little homophobic joke killed that entire fad. What's the hardest thing about rollerblading? Telling your parents you're gay. Full-grown adults. Dude, I'm not gay. I don't have the cooties. These mean I suck dick. And they just threw them out. They end up in the ocean. They're made out of plastic. They can't biodegrade. They just break down to little cubes. Fish are breathing them in. 6 months later, you're going out, you're getting sushi. You think you're being healthy. You're eating your old rollerblades. All right, I'm out of time. You guys are great. Thank you. Thank you.
It's nice to be back here down in the South, man. I had a real weird experience last time I came down here. I was in Nashville, right? Sort of an awkward social situation, right? I'm sitting at this bar. There's this white dude sitting like 2 stools away. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. And that Terrell Owens story was in like sports news. So I try to make conversation. I'm like, man, look at this guy. This guy just signed a $40 million contract. He's already bitching, man. How much money do you need to make? And the dude looks at me. He's like, you know what I say? And then he looked over his shoulder, which I now know is the telltale sign that the N-word is coming, and it's coming hard. Oh yeah, it's not gonna be pronounced with the A, it's gonna be with the R, and he hit the R, he like stuck the landing. It was like a dismount, Klan members high-fiving in the background, like doing the wave. Just out of nowhere, so now immediately I'm looking over my shoulder like, dude, what the hell are you doing? You know wait for like this hail of black fists to come raining down on top of me. I hate when people do stuff like that. That dude made me part of like a potential ass kicking that I had nothing to do with. You don't do shit like that. He just had that word, hot potato, just threw it in my lap. Trying to pass it down to the next white dude. I hate when people do that, man. You know, it's like, dude, feel me out first. Ask some questions. Do you like to fish? Have you ever fucked your sister, right? I start rattling off answers, then you go old school. You give me a pamphlet, you tell me about your militia. Don't just dive into it. That dude was one of the angriest people I ever met. I should have known that word was coming, because he was just watching Terrell, right? Anytime I would bring up, look at man, that guy's talking trash, he would just like flip out. He won't shut up! You know those people get like so mad they're not even looking at you? Their eyes are up, you just shut up and play the game! You know what's funny? I don't even like Terrell, but now I love the guy. Because every time I see him talking trash, I know this idiot in Nashville is just losing his mind, like kicking over his kitchen TV. Shut the fuck up! I like violence, man. I am. Not like when it happens to me or if I see it live. I like watching it on TV, you know? Watching people, you know, get attacked by animals. Just get blasted in the face or something, you know? Like, I'm a huge sports fan. You know what my favorite, like, moment of, like, the last year was in sports? That Detroit Piston, Indiana Pacer bench clearing brawl. Wasn't that great? That was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I was so confused when I watched ESPN that day. They were like, that was absolutely disgraceful. Basketball fans, they just must be... I'm sitting there looking like, I'm a basketball fan. I loved it. I thoroughly enjoyed watching out-of-shape civilians get the shit kicked out of them by professional athletes. It was fascinating. And I think as sports fans, we kind of had it coming, right? Because how many times you gone to a game, right? You got a little too drunk, you started screaming at some dude on the field who could clearly kick the shit out of you, right? If you saw him in the parking lot, you'd be like, hey, can you sign my stamp collection? I think you're awesome. You get in the game, you're all drunk, you're like, you suck, buddy! You're a piece of shit! And they're always calling him up, come on up here! No, come on up here! Well, they came up there. They did, and they kicked the shit out of everybody. It was great. It was like a cartoon. You're like beating up whole rows of people at once, like... I loved every second. I love how Ron Artest punched the wrong guy. Wasn't that great? He taught that dude a valuable lesson in life. When shit goes down, you don't just stand there like you're watching a movie like, wow, it's coming right at me. Must be in 3D or something. That was a 5'6", 110-pound white dude, had an angry 6'10" black dude running right at him. That had to have been in his top 3 nightmares all time. Right behind getting his dick cut off and being lit on fire. And he just stood there. He's like trying to explain himself. Well, I still have the liquid in my cup, so there's no way I could have... He's an idiot.
Next guy coming to the stage, I guess you would call him Kathy Griffin without tits, Billy Burr.
All right, thank you. Keep it going for Rich Voss, everybody. Come on, everybody. And for those of you who saw last comic standing, how about a round of applause for the official end of his fucking career? Come on, everybody. Rich, that was the worst fucking show I've ever seen in my life. I can't believe you said yes to that. Fucking Alba Bell turned down that show. Jesus, it's fucking unbelievable. He's been in this business 39 years. He's competing with open micers. You didn't even fucking stand out. You should have looked like Christ. You didn't look like Christ. You didn't even look like a comedian. You look like a fucking landscaper who's just trying the shit out on a whim. But you're dumb. You deserve it. Look at Rich. Rich spent $3 grand on a watch and $8 on his teeth. Look at him. He looks like fucking John Elway. A football player for 20 years. He's been out of I think it's a decent line, right? Maybe if you didn't spit on somebody every 20 seconds, you get a fucking deal, man. Look at that thing. That's not a bridge, it's a fucking dam. Alright, let's move on, because that's dying. Alright, Vanessa Hollingshead is here, everybody. Vanessa, I've seen you for like the last 7 years. I got one question asked about your act. What the fuck are you talking about? No one cares about your stupid characters. Just talk about your dick and get off the stage. For me, it's a roast. Fuck all of you. Alright, thank you. It's getting worse, people. I'm starting off with the cute one. I just got back from the Mike Birbiglia's one-man show called An Evening with Todd Barry. Thank you. Todd Barry, a little advice, maybe if you brought the energy up just a little bit, you could get a food spot at the cellar. Oh, and speaking of the cellar, Manny and Esty just wrote a book called How Dare You Work Another Club? Keith Robinson wrote the foreword. I'm going to read some of it. No, master, I won't be working no other club. Bring it up, Modi, Bob. Bring it up, Modi. Coming up the stairs, Bob. Coming up the stairs. Unfucking believable. Keith Robinson sold his soul for free nachos and buffalo wings. Just fucking around. I tease the Comedy Cellar. I love the Comedy Cellar. You know what I love about the Comedy Cellar? I love the wide variety of acts that they have on their weekends. On Saturday, we have 4 wonderful shows. At 7 o'clock, we have Tom Papa, Greg Giraldo, Nick DiPaolo, and Connie Quinn. At 9 o'clock, we have Nick DiPaolo, Connie Quinn, Greg Giraldo, and Tom Papa. At 11 o'clock, we have Nick DiPapa, Connie Giraldo, Nick DiPapa, and Alan Hayden. Let me ask you a question. I got one question. Who the fuck is Alan Havey? Every 6 weeks I get that. I thought they'd give me more spots, but Alan Havey is in town. Oh, well, shit, let's clear the fucking schedule. Alan Havey is in town. Jesus Christ, by any chance did you bring Mark Cohen with him? It's a roast, man. I'm letting it go. You like it? Beautiful, beautiful. All right, fuck all you. This is still, we're at the halfway point. All right, I worked with the Sklar brothers recently. I got one question for the Sklar brothers. Do they both have to be up there? Is there any reason for both of them? Can't one of them just recite that awful material? Come apart, come apart, come apart. Awful. God, they're ugly. They're the answer to the question, what would happen if Jeff Ross fucked Mel Brooks? Alright, Tom Papa, I don't know if he's here. Tom Papa has a new show coming out this fall. Evidently it takes place inside of Jerry Seinfeld's ass. Orny Adams lives in the prostate and it's called Who Are These People Up My Ass? You guys all getting a fucking guest star on it, you fucking sellouts? Here's the deal. Where do we go from here? Couple more bridges. Colin Quinn is still here. God bless him. Come on, round of applause for the one celebrity tonight. God bless him. Colin, I just have one question for you. Why are you still fucking here? You're at least twice as old as anybody here. No one cares about your take on the war in Iraq. And even if we did, we couldn't understand what the fuck you're saying. You fucking mush-mouth hack. If you're gonna keep doing spots, at least take a fucking speech class. Tell me, you got your own show. Why are you still here? What do you think? That tough crowd's like a stepping stone? You're 58 years old. This is it for you. It's not going any higher. Your brass ring was to get a time slot on a network that gives robots its own show. It's all right. It's all right, people. Good joke. All right, go all the way out. All right, okay. Fuck off. Shut up. I got 2 more here. Just when I thought Marlon and Sean Wayans were the worst related black comics I ever saw, Tony and Sharon showed up. Oh my God, they're so fucking bad. I watched them. I wondered to myself, is Keith Robinson teaching a comedy class? Jesus, those guys stink. Tony Rock is the Frank Stallone of comedy. sell his act to Tony, and Tony's going to go on the road like Gallagher 2, except instead of smashing the watermelons, he's going to eat them. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, which brings me to this tub of shit. Patrice ONeal. What I've loved about him is he's fat and arrogant. It's the oddest combination I've ever seen in my life. Like, he refuses to do Comic View. He actually feels that he's above it. I will not do Comic View. Patrice, your whole act is perfect for that show. You do 11 minutes, you pretend to talk about Russia, and then you do 52 minutes of pussy jokes. And you won't do Comic View? I mean, Patrice, you're so comic. You got a deal for your own TV show. You blew all your money on a pinky ring, a used Cadillac, and football jerseys. And you won't do Comic View? Patrice, you are Comic View. Why didn't you at least get your fucking teeth fixed? Patrice, you have the worst teeth in entertainment. None of them match. I worked in the dental office for 5 years. I've never seen anybody with a molar in the front. You have no business having a headshot. Howard Feller called. He wants his old teeth back. Look at the space between his front teeth. He looks like a fat 50 Cent. I'm just fucking with them. I gotta do this thing. I'm getting the most fucking groans here. Patrice is fat. Patrice has that awful fat person bad breath where you don't know if it's coming, the smell's coming from his mouth or one of the folds in his neck. Patrice's breath smells worse than Jim Norton's chest. I make fun of Patrice. I make fun of Patrice only because I'm jealous of his career. Seriously, he's doing great. He just booked the lead to the sequel to Mighty Joe Young.
You got to figure out a way to like thin out the herd, and it's too late. These are the hard decisions that are going to have to be made.
We're here to hear about some hard choices.
Yeah. So you know how I would do it?
What?
I would randomly sink cruise ships. I love all the USC female fighters. That's why I want my daughter to know all of that stuff.
That'd be cool, huh?
When she meets a creep like you, she could choke you out. You know, like when feminists go like, oh, and they have like their missiles, these shaped things and blah, blah, blah. And I'm always thinking like, well, there is physics and aerodynamics and all that involved. Like if you have it shaped like a twat, I don't think it's going to make it to another country unless you frisbee it, right? And even then that gap's going to fucking be a lot of drag.
While people are talking about eating fake pussies.
That was before.
I don't want to be responsible for that shit. I didn't. But if the kid was in the fucking building.
Before. Will you shut up? Jesus fucking Christ.
Geez, you'd think I was like trashing the president or something. You guys are really like pulling back
It's
here.
worse than that for people. Everyone's got an iPhone, you know?
Hey, look. No, I can't say that. I was going to say he's gone. They still came out with another one, right? That's true, right? Oh.
Did you guys see the picture of Donald watching his wife vote?
A lot of trust in that relationship.
No, a part of me dies every time I go into a store and I see something. They go, can we get a phone number? Watching somebody give them the phone number. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
I always give the same. Mine is all area codes. They go, what's your phone number? I'm like, 323-818-212-5. It was really, you relate to adults differently, people that you knew forever. And I always hated when somebody who didn't have a kid goes, you don't get it, man. You don't get it till you have it. And I was like, fuck you, I get it. It's like having a dog, but it's more intense. I was so upset that security escorted him out. I wanted to talk. I started my show blaming women for sexual harassment. That's how I started it. Yes, it was absurd. I wasn't being serious, you children.
Your Christian background is part of the show.
Yes, and I wanted to talk to you about Jesus after this.
Well, the only reason why I bring it up is some people thought maybe you went a little too far. You know.
As far as what?
Well, they thought that maybe you were being disrespectful to the Christian religion.
Who did?
I'm telling you, you need to Google.
Oh, good Lord.
Daniel.
You just ignore them. It's like 3 days. They flip out for 3 days. They try to bully you into an apology.
Well, you can't ignore them when they're right in the audience and you're playing to them.
You tell them to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, believe me.
It's a comedy show.
Trump's winning New Hampshire. Hillary's winning Virginia.
Really?
And there's a little kid here.
Yeah, somebody decided it was a good idea.
Somebody please take a photo of this Last Supper.
First off, thanks for calling in a couple weeks back, and so blessed to have you sitting here in our 105.9 studio.
Yeah, no problem. I'm actually glad I don't watch the news. I had no idea the economy was tanking until we came in. Yeah, it's great.
Is that a Rolex?
Yes, it is. I finally bought one. 25 years in this business.
Is it white gold or stainless?
I don't know what it is.
Is it heavy?
No.
Then it's stainless.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, thank you. Thank you for taking my watch down a notch. I finally felt successful. You see this? You wouldn't say that if I had brown or black hair. I guarantee you. Blonde hair, you'd be over here giving me your watch. I think bankers should be forced to dress like bankers back in the day with like the top hat and the tuxedo. So at least you know what they look like so they can't hide in public as they go to the mall. Just dress like the Penguin on Batman. And just waddle around. At least let me throw a hot dog at you. Something, you piece of garbage. You're not going to go to jail. They're the worst. Remember that? We had this college agent, great guy, but he used to book us in the middle of fucking nowhere. He'd always call me up, Billy, Scott Bass calling. I have a gig for you in Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Now, they don't have a lot of money, but I can build around it.
And then
there won't be a stage. It's at 12 noon in a hallway. Can you do it? Yeah.
We've never taken a break in the middle of a gas station.
I know. I had all this momentum going. Now I got to start all over again. Go ahead. Go to the card. See this? We won game one. Here comes the second of the doubleheader. I love the racist white guy thing. A bunch of racist white guys. They came out of the forest, and they were just going, Trump, Trump, Trump. It's like, where were all these racist white guys the last two elections when they could have voted against a black guy? They were fine. Oh, I don't mind the black guy, but this white lady, we got to stop her. It's going to take her four-wheelers, Macuzzi.
You're whatever incognito. You're an enigma.
What, because I make a pie? No, you know what it is? You're not a good listener. You've known me for 10 years. You have no idea who I am. It's all about comedy with you and moving up the ladder and pushing people. This is like that Hillary commercial where they have the little kids watching politics. I'm like, that's bullshit. Little kids don't watch politics. There you go. So, like, dude, like this week when I went to upload my podcast to Dropbox and it wasn't working. And, dude, if you want to see something funny, watch me flip out when my kid is sleeping. Because I can't yell and just listen to, dude, I literally grabbed my computer and I was just like, fucking God. Like walking around my fucking kitchen.
Are you getting out of an existing house and
No, I'm going from a one-bedroom apartment, and I figured I'd finally go out and buy a damn house and not have to deal with, some jerk living above me or below me.
All right.
Yeah. Do my own little thing. Get
Sure.
my little 12 gauge, get a bunch of cans of tuna. Get ready for the apocalypse. That's what I want to do.
You tell it the way it is. I love the podcast.
I really don't. I don't read. I go with my gut. That's my fancy way of saying I don't read.
Well, that's good.
I hang out in bars. I overhear stuff that plumbers say, and then I repeat it on the radio. That's all I'm doing.
I love the podcast.
I just realized I was swinging my legs underneath this as your buddy is videotaping it.
I do.
He really gets into this. Whee! I'm telling jokes. Dude, if you took 90% of my text messages and phone messages and you put them on the news, you would run out of podiums to put in front of me that I would have to apologize. The crap me and DeRosa say to each other, forget it. So, you can't talk shit in the room with that guy. Yo, one time this guy stepped to me in the bar, dude, fuck you. One time the president was giving me shit, and I said, oh yeah, I'll have you a fucking job in 2 years, and I did it. And I'm in the middle of watching the World Series, and out of nowhere, they have this moment, stand up to cancer. I'm watching a ball game, and all of a sudden, everybody stands up. No, there's a time and a place. Look, I know somebody that has died of cancer. I would never go to the movies with you and in the middle of it hit pause and be like, oh, by the way, Conan, I know this guy. You know what I heard about you guys? Actually, by the way, I've been over here for a week, and as an American, I got to say something. You guys are pretty fat, too. Specifically the men. I don't know what's going on with the men, but I don't give a fuck how fat you get. You're going to pour yourself into your skinny jeans. They still got them. It's like you're squeezing all the fat to the top like toothpaste. Right, still wearing me same jeans from primary school.
Makes you feel old about watching TV?
Music, there's no guitar solos anymore. And then for some reason, with all this technology, millennials, if you take a full water bottle and you flip it in the air and it lands upright, they run out of the room like they just saw a witch.
It's nice to be back here down in the South, man. I had a real weird experience last time I came down here. I was in Nashville, right? Sort of an awkward social situation, right? I'm sitting at this bar. There's this white dude sitting like 2 stools away. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. And that Terrell Owens story was in like sports news. So I try to make conversation. I'm like, man, look at this guy. This guy just signed a $40 million contract. He's already bitching, man. How much money do you need to make? And the dude looks at me. He's like, you know what I say? And then he looked over his shoulder, which I now know is the telltale sign that the N-word is coming, and it's coming hard. Oh yeah, it's not gonna be pronounced with the A, it's gonna be with the R, and he hit the R, he like stuck the landing. There was like a dismount, Klan members high-fiving in the background, like doing the wave. Just out of nowhere, so now immediately I'm looking over my shoulder like, dude, what the hell are you doing? You know what I mean? I'm waiting for like this hail of black fists to come raining down on top of me. I hate when people do stuff like that. That dude made me part of like a potential ass kicking that I had nothing to do with. You don't do shit like that. He just had that word, hot potato, just threw it in my lap. Trying to pass it down to the next white dude. I hate when people do that, man. You know, it's like, dude, feel me out first. Ask some questions. Do you like to fish? Have you ever fucked your sister, right? I start rattling off answers, then you go old school. You give me a pamphlet, you tell me about your militia. Don't just dive into it. That dude was one of the angriest people I ever met. I should have known that word was coming, because he was just watching Terrell, right? Anytime I would bring up, look at man, that guy's talking trash, he would just like flip out. He won't shut up! You know, those people get like so mad they're not even looking at you. Their eyes are up, you just shut up and play the game! You know what's funny? I don't even like Terrell, but now I love the guy. Because every time I see him talking trash, I know this idiot in Nashville is just losing his mind, like kicking over his kitchen TV. Shut the fuck up! Actually, I got a couple of friends of African persuasion, and I gotta get rid of them, man. I gotta admit to you. I'm finding I'm spending too much money on clothes hanging out with them, because I gotta like fucking try to keep up with their wardrobe. It's like every time they go out, they got all brand new shit on. All brand new shit. So when I show up with my white version of brand new, which is, you know, I ironed the shit, right? I ironed it, right? It's new. They just start trashing me. I can't keep up with them, man. They got like fucking 58 pairs of sneakers. Ever notice that shit? Like every color fucking Timberland? And I don't give a shit what fucked up color their shirt is. They got a pair of shoes to match it and a hat. I'll tell you, it's actually funny. You know what? That's actually how I judge black guys now. When I first came to the city, like, all black people scared me. No, I was like the typical white dude from, like, the suburbs, you know what I mean? Had no frame of reference, you know? So my only frame of reference with black people was, like, remember those early 90s gangster rap videos? Throw the fucking LA riots in there, man. It was fucking horrible PR. I'm watching the videos. Look, he's got a nice car, he's got all the women, and he's still fucking mad. These black dudes are never happy. But after 10 years of living in the city, this is how I narrow it down. Whether a black dude scares me or not. Black dudes with dirty sneakers scare the fucking shit out of me. No. I figured out in my head, because I know from hanging out with them, that's the last shit that they're going to let go. The immediate shit that they have on. So I think, you know, if his sneakers are fucked up, that means his life is fucked up. Every time he leaves his building, the whole neighborhood, oh, shit! Everyone starts making fun of him. He's on the train in a bad mood. I kind of have this howdy-doody, kind of mug-me kind of face. I'm not saying something's going to happen. I'm just saying. I'm paying attention. I'm not judging you. Not judging anybody. I didn't know anything about lotion. Never used it the first 33 years of my life. Never used it. till one night I was going out with this black girl, right? She was getting ready and she was just putting that shit on everywhere. Just slathering it on. I thought she had like a rash or something. I'm like, what do they got, like poison ivy? What's going on with you? She goes, no, I'm just making sure I'm not ashy. I said, ashy? She goes, dry skin. I went, wow. I guess I freaked her out a little bit because I was like, wow. She's like, well, white people get ashy too. I was like, yeah, you know, I don't think we do. Yeah, I've been alive for 33 years. No one has ever said, hey, Bill, you look a little ashy. I never even heard that word until you said it. She's like, you're an idiot. Stick out your arm. So I stick out my arm, and ever so gently, she just drags her nails down. This smoke starts coming up. There's like pastry flakes flying off, track marks. She's signing her name. She's like, you see that? She goes, that's ashy. You're ashy? Freak me out. I'm like, holy shit, I'm ashy. I didn't know anything about it. All I knew was that I always got itchy in the winter. Couldn't figure it out. Always got itchy in the winter. What the fuck do I get itchy? I thought it meant the bath towel was dirty. That's what I thought. And I would change it out and put a fresh one. Now I'm going to be okay. Take a shower, dry off, fucking itching again. God damn it, I hate the winter. See that? That's why you got to hang out with everybody. Yeah. There's too much information in the world, and every group of people misses a little bit. White people totally missed the lotion seminar at some point in history. I don't know if it's because we can't see it. You know, black people get ashy. It looks like they leaned up against a chalkboard or something. You know, they can see it. They miss it. Their friends help them out. Like, look at your ashy motherfucking elbow. What is wrong with you? Right? We miss that shit the way black people miss the whole register your weapons summit. Right? Just never got the information. The amount of rappers who've been busted for the unregistered Glock in the car just blows my mind. It's like, why would you do that to yourself? Do you just want to make an album over the phone? Is that what it is? Is that like the new auto-tune or some shit? I don't know. No, it breaks my heart every time I see it. I just think, God, if he just had one white friend. If he just had one white friend in his entourage, dude would have been sitting there going like, is that thing registered? You out of your mind? Dude, get it out of there. Get it out of there. Yeah, it's illegal. That's like fucking 3 to 5 mandatory. Dude, how do you not know that? That's the question. How do you not fucking know that? This guy's got unregistered. Okay, don't believe in these myths. Black don't crack. It's bullshit. They all put lotion on like every 20 minutes during the day. It's ridiculous. They all got a giant oil drum of the shit at home. Every morning they wake up, they dunk themselves in it, shake themselves off, and walk out the door absolutely glistening. Glistening! All right? So I sit down, and I'm watching this documentary as a white dude, which is what I am. I'm looking out my white head, watching this white shit. It's coming back into my white eyes, getting whiter by the fucking second. All right? Now, my wife, on the other hand, she's black, right? Now, I hate saying that because it makes it seem like I'm going to start doing some stupid comparison jokes. You know, those dumb white guy, black guy jokes? And it's always like the white guy's like, oh, Jesus, I gotta do my taxes. Can this chair hold me? The black guy's always like, you need to loosen up. You gotta relax, man. You just gotta let it happen. All right? It's always the same stupid fucking joke. I hate those jokes, you know, because they're easy. And it's been my experience that it's just not true. You know, 15 years of being with her, there's really no difference. You know, because at the end of the day, it's a woman. All right? It's gonna be the same fights. I don't give a fuck who you're with. I'm not gonna lie to you. There might be more head movement and hand gestures with different races of women. Possibly an index finger jabbing at your forehead, whatever the fuck that is. But at the end of the day, it's the same fights. What's going on with us? You need to work on this. Why don't we communicate better, right? So she starts watching this shit as a black person, right? And she's seeing all the racism, obviously, that I'm seeing. But she was catching all this subtle shit that I was too white to see. But I knew I was missing it because I just kept hearing her huffing and puffing. Just sitting next to me being like... And I'm just sitting there like, okay, somebody did something. I don't know what just happened, but I don't think that was good. So right when I didn't think it could get any worse,
it could get any more uncomfortable between the two of us. This fucking white dude comes on who evidently discovered Elvis. And he's like 190 years old, and he comes out, starts talking. He's just like, well, basically, I was looking for a white boy that could take the down and dirty, nasty blues and combine it with the pristine, angelic sounds of bluegrass. Yeah, that's what he was doing. He was subtly putting black shit down here while he was propping up the white shit. You know, the down and dirty, daddy not sticking around, drug-infested neighborhood blues with the Jesus as white as me, hair the color of the sun, angelic bluegrass playing music, right? So at this point, my wife has like fucking steam coming out of her ears. So I make a judgment call. I just fucking shut it off, right? And she looks at me, she's like, why did you shut that off? Why did you shut it off? I was like, because you're about 3 minutes away from yelling at me like I produced this music. All right? Let's just forget it. We'll watch something else. She's like, no, why can't we just watch the rest of this and then discuss it afterwards? It's like, I don't fucking do that. I just want to watch a documentary. I don't want to have a fucking lecture because of these fucking assholes. I didn't do anything. I'm just sitting there watching TV. And not to mention, we're just gonna get into an argument. She's like, well, why would we get into an argument? I'm like, ugh. All right, you know why? Because not for nothing, there was some black people in there saying some shit that I didn't agree with, you know? I'm not huffing and puffing. Yeah, I said that. Like a fucking idiot. And she just looks at me, she's like what black people? Like what black people that said what? And at that point, it's like you started the luge, right? You can't get off the fucking sled. Now you gotta have the argument. I'm like, fuck, here we go. Guess we're having this. And I'm like, all right. The black guy who brought up leg shaking, saying Elvis took leg shaking from us. It's like, really? Leg shaking? No, nobody thought to fucking do this? Black people came up with that? You telling me that? I'll even give you that. Let's say you came up with that, but where did that black dude learn how to do it? Didn't he watch some older black guy do it? But what, because he's the same color? He's not stealing, he's just carrying on the tradition. But if Elvis does it, oh, what the fuck? Now he's the biggest thief ever? That doesn't make any sense to me. She goes, no, you idiot, it's not about the leg shaking, okay? It's about, he appropriated a culture. He took all the music, he got all the money, got all the fame, he's called the king of it now, and he never gave a shit, not even a shout out. And I was like, all right. You know, fair enough. You made about 7 or 8 good points there that I can't refute. He appropriated a culture. I get it. You're right. She goes, fine, thank you. And I go, however, not for nothing, do I get mad at you when you get on a skateboard, you start going down the fucking street? Do I get all offended like, hey man, that's some white shit. Stop appropriating my culture, man. Some dirty white kid in Santa Monica came up with that, man. So she starts laughing. And I should have stopped there, but I'm a comedian, right? I'm like, oh, I'm getting a laugh. There's got to be a bigger laugh, so keep going, Bill. Let's come with another example. So I'm like, yeah, do I get mad at you when you fly from LA to New York in under 6 hours? And she just, yeah. She just stares at me. She's just like, that was fucked up. Paying attention.
So I've been seeing this girl recently, this black girl, right? She lives up in Harlem, you know, gone out like 3-4 times, you know. First time we hung out in like the Village area in New York, you know, which is sort of like a racially mixed area. So shit was cool, you know what I mean? Second time we hung out was more like Midtown, you know. Then the third time, she called me at like 3:30 in the morning, and she wanted me to come up to her apartment, right? So it's 3:30 in the morning, she lives in Harlem, I look how I look, so it's a fucking situation. Yeah, because you know the deal, right? Basically, a white dude feels comfortable up to about like 98th, 99th Street, you know what I'm saying? The second the streets start getting into like triple digits, like 100, 101st Street, start getting like a little asthma, like, ah, fuck, it's starting to get a little high up here. You feel that little tightness in your chest? Can you feel that? 106th Street, you're like leaning on shit, like, dude, where'd all the cabs go? How come there's no taxis up here? Dude, what's a bodega? I don't know what that is. Let's get the fuck out of here. So I'm praying to God she's gonna tell me to take the subway, get off at like 105th Street, 103rd, you know, which is like the first stop in Harlem where I can still look over my shoulder and see like all the white people like disappearing over the horizon, you know? But she goes, no, man, you want to get on the Uptown 2-3 train, you want to get off at 125th Street. I'm like, God, fuck, 125th Street. Jesus Christ, that's like right in the middle of everything. I'm going to be surrounded on all four sides. I can't fucking do this. So, at this point, I'm really trying to hide like the bitchy tone that's starting to creep into my voice, you know? And I'm trying to ask for really specific directions for when I get up there, because I want to know exactly where I'm going. So she starts naming the streets I have to go down, and every other street up there is named after like a black leader, you know? She's like, make a left on Adam Clayton, take a right on Frederick Douglass. I'm like, God, fuck Adam Clayton. Yo, dude, go on the internet, look up Adam Clayton. Did he kill a bunch of white people during the slave revolt? Dude, I ain't going up there till I know what Adam Clayton did. Fuck this shit. So at this point, I'm really having a battle with myself. Because I'm thinking I can't do this, right? I'm like, I can't do this, but my dick's going, no, come on, man, we can do this, all right? Just relax. Pull yourselves together and get on the goddamn train, right? So as always, I listen to my dick. Oh yeah, I get on the train. By the time I get up there, it's like 5 or 4 in the morning, right? I'm staying on like Malcolm X and like Danny Glover or some shit, right? I don't even know where the hell I'm at. But I see the street I want to go up. I want to go up St. Nick. I can literally see her apartment building, but there's like 5 or 6 black dudes standing right on the corner, right where I want to walk by. So I'm like, fuck! I felt like I was on like some reality show at that point, like some sort of like white guy survivor. It was ridiculous. So I'm thinking, I gotta walk right by these guys, right? You know what's funny? I think that they were actually more surprised to see me than I was scared, you know? And I was really, really scared, you know, but I'm also really, really white, you know? Like shockingly Caucasian. You know what I mean? Like if you're not ready for me, I can like surprise you. No, especially if you live up there. You've probably seen a white person for hours, possibly days. So when I show up, it's almost like magical. Like a leprechaun came out of nowhere, you know? Felt like I should have like a little pot of gold, like a rainbow behind me. Top of the morning to you, latte. Kind of dance my way past them. But it's been going all right, you know? Once I get in her apartment, I'm fine, you know? I relax. Sit down, you know, watch a hip-hop countdown. Pretend like I know the groups, you know what I mean? It's just getting there that's a fucking pain in the ass. But, you know, I don't get mad at it, because I figure, you know, black dudes got to go through the same shit, though, right? When you go out to the suburbs, go fuck a white girl, right? Just that same awful feeling of just leaving your people behind, you know, just less and less of you as you're fucking driving out there. Probably start off lean and you're all fucking cool. 20 minutes in, you're driving like 10 and 2. The radio's out like, dude, I don't like this shit. I don't like this shit at all. There's too much grass. I don't see any rims. This is fucked up. None of the windows are tinted. I can clearly see white people in every car. This is fucked up. Listen, you guys were awesome. Thank you so much for coming out. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Well, while we're on that subject, Bill, excluding yourself, greatest 5 stand-ups of all time for you?
It's funny you said excluding yourself. Whenever I watch rappers, they always go like, so me.
I thought I'd make it easier for you. Just get yourself out of that.
It's so fucking funny. It's like nauseating, the narcissism, and then there's something about the honesty of that I love. Well, I'm obviously fucking amazing.
But you know, when Kanye does it, you go, yeah, that's fair. You could, that's legitimate to put yourself in the top 5, and he definitely would.
Yeah, and there's something about it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun to listen to somebody talking shit about themselves. Top, what do you say? Top 5?
Top 5 all time.
Okay, Pryor, Carlin, Joan Rivers. This where it gets hard. Like, who am I going to put in? Like, I just love so many people. These are just influential people for me. Cheech and Chong, you know,
go on more.
Sam Kinison. I'm not going one more. I got
He's going to give us the top 50.
You know.
Yeah.
I only don't throw Patrice in there just because I knew that idiot. And it would bug him.
Yeah.
It would bug him if he heard me and if I put him in or if I didn't. But, you know, Mitch Hedberg, Doug Stanhope, Joe Rogan. And this is why I hate doing this. Mike Epps. I know I'm going to forget somebody.
Chappelle?
Oh, obviously, Jesus Christ.
I'd love if you said, nah, not him.
Jesus Christ. It's hard to do people that are doing it right now because you're making me like look back.
Yeah.
Obviously him. Jesus Christ. Me doing that is literally like when the guy wins the Oscar and he forgets to thank his wife or his mother. The fuck did I forget, Dave?
Yeah.
You know, there was a few guys that I saw that were like no-brainers. Dane was one. Like the shit that he gets through, the level that guy was killing. Dude, he put the fear in God in guys that have been doing it for 20 years. I mean, we used to do Dick Doherty, rest his soul, his comedy clubs and all, like, you know, Drake at Mass and all these places. And Dane would have the headliner like pacing in the back.
Damn.
He was killing that hard, and he would be like, you know, I shouldn't have to follow that. There's no, and my favorite thing, there's no jokes here. It's like, well, listen to the crowd. There's something going on here.
Right,
and like, he doesn't get credit. He kind of came up with like a new genre sort of style, like of it. And, you know, it's just a weird fucking business, man.
It is. Some people, it's like the Bo Burnham thing. Some people figure out, not only did he figure out a new way of doing comedy, he did the MySpace shit too. I mean, he was so ahead of it.
That guy is a total fucking trailblazer. What I love is all the shit he got in the beginning. He just shut everybody down, and he totally delivers. And then in the end, you find out this guy's a monster fucking talent.
Oh yeah,
that can kind of do everything.
Yeah,
in front and behind that. He made some other movie. I forget the name of it, years ago, about like teenage kids and your first date.
8th grade.
Oh my God, it was a fucking.
I never saw it.
It was a great movie.
Yeah,
great fucking movie. You just totally put you back into like your first crushes and the dumb shit. Like he had like the kid has like a date. He's like trying to comb his hair and you know, the dumb shit that you did when you were a kid. And I saw that with my wife. And we were like that like, and I just remember thinking like that's his first. I think that was his first movie.
Yeah,
and it was like, I mean, this is incredible.
He's a talent.
He's a talented son of a bitch.
It's interesting. People never say Kinison. I think people have forgotten Kinison. Chris Rock said Kinison was a lost.
Yeah, what about Rock? What about Rock?
Yeah,
Fucking hell. Well, some of those guys, it's like you don't need to say it because they're like all. I got to throw somebody in there that. Fucking Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
dude, Jim Carrey being Tony Clifton, imitating reenacting the Kennedy assassination is one of the greatest pieces of physical comedy you're ever gonna fucking watch.
Quick impression, Johnson County.
It's unfucking believable. And I got a chance when I did SNL to talk to him about it. I go, "Did you work that out?" He goes, "Nah, he just saw the car and he got in and did it." And it's just like, that's just thing. Just like, fuck, I gotta work hard. Yeah. So there you go. We did it. We talked fucking world politics right down. I know there's other people. George Gobel I liked. Gonna go back to the old school guys. George Gobel.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh my God, Rodney! Come on.
Yeah, so good.
There's too many of them.
There you go. Bill's favorite 5 stand-ups.
Yeah,
Bill Cosby.
I'm glad you brought him up.
I mean, look,
Louis C.K.
Louis C.K. Dave Attell.
Oh, Dave
David
Attell
is brilliant.
He's fucking brilliant.
You almost have to be just like, you got to do like, all right, your favorite comedians in New York City during this period. Because being then, it would have been Chappelle, Attell, Louis C.K.
Fitzsimmons is such a... so he came right before you from Boston?
Yeah, he was... as far as in Boston, there was... that group of comics was... there was Rogan, Greg Fitzsimmons...
Dane?
No, Dane was... Dane actually started right out of high school, so he started in 90. I thought he started in 91, but like Dane was more my generation. And who else was up there? Like Jim Loletta, Todd Parker, fucking Robbie Prince, all of that. Those are like, all of that crew. And then after that, it was, I came up with like Bobby, Dane, Patrice, Gary Gulman came like right after that, ONeal. And there was a great.
That's a crazy class.
Yeah, it was great. And then when we moved, and then Jersey had like Florentine and Norton and all that, and then we all just sort of came into New York at the same time, and and then all of that shit happened.
Yeah, the Patrice doc has little snippets. Thank God somebody was rolling a camera back then. There's a scene where you guys are all hanging on the sidewalk, and then Rich Voss walks up and goes, "What is this? A couple of middles? Zero laugh, a pause, and then everybody laughed at him. How bad that bombed." And I was like, "Oh, that's such a great little moment that I don't feel like we have anymore."
Were fucking brutal to each other. It was so stupid. When I look back now, I mean, it's funny, but it was so stupid. We didn't write one script, one sketch. All we did was try to destroy each other's confidence. It was just such like, it was like a bunch of abused like rescue dogs all put in the same with like one pork chop there. It was just fucking. Yeah, dude, I used to fucking have anxiety going down to the cellar, and I was just thinking of everybody. I would think like 3 fucking insults for every, just to kind of get, I was like, okay, if it comes at me, I'm going to get it off me, and I'll send it this way, and, but what if Bobby's not there? Bobby's not there, I can't use that. It's like, you look, and you couldn't look at the lineup. Like
right.
You can, so you had no idea it was going to be down there.
And then the worst is when you say one and they're like, "You prepared that." I did. I thought I was going to be smarter. Shit.
We missed that. We really missed out on that. Like I guess when I first got in, I remember Colin Quinn and Keith like beating up on me when I was like brand new, and I was like, "This is amazing. This is But my first.
And somehow it became like toxic.
I know.
This is bad, and then like you go in there now, and it's just like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, I'm not going to romanticize like it was all, because I was comics going to me like, why do you sit down there? Just go down and do your spot. And if I was a healthier person, I would have been like, this isn't working for me. I'm not enjoying this. Like, I'd like to come down here and feel good about myself, not feel worse. Oh my God, the amount of shirts I could never wear again.
Right.
It was just like, I remember one time. I think it was Keith. Keith was getting so trashed for what he had on. He just stood up in the middle of the pounding and just ran out. And I remember, you can't fucking, you can do that? I didn't know you could leave. I thought you could just sit here until it was over.
Because so many people like pretend that they don't give a fuck. Both in my business and in other businesses. I don't give a fuck. Hey, you know me. I don't give a fuck. Those people that advertise them. Like, that guy clearly, in the best way, didn't give a fuck. He really cared about people and stuff, but like he did what he wanted to do. And when he was on SNL, how big a gig that was. Because there was so few channels, the internet hadn't blown up yet. And even with basic cable and everything, I mean, it was still, if you were on Saturday Night Live and you were doing Weekend Update, it was one of the most coveted gigs a comedian could have, and you were part of this lineage of, at that point it was, Chevy Chase, Jane Curtin, right on through to Dennis Miller's reign when he did it, and did Colin Quinn come after? I think Colin came after, but it was always just like the best of the best comics that they had doing it, and continued on with Tina Fey and all of them, and no one's walking away from that job. And if some suit at NBC tells you they don't like the jokes you're doing and be funnier, you're shaking in your, I'd be like, oh, fuck, I'm going to lose this big gig. I don't want to get fired. I don't want to piss these people off or whatever. I guess he was doing all those OJ jokes, and I forget how the story went. There was somebody there that knew OJ or something, and was telling Norm to back off and move on to something else. So what does Norm do? He just doubles down and he just does even more OJ jokes, which is like, the balls that took to do that. And he ended up losing the gig. He got fired. And people loved him and he was fucking hilarious, but he didn't back down to the big fucking guy over there, and he ended up losing the gig. So, you know, as luck would have it, I think it was Dirty Work, came out like a year and a half later or so. So he has to promote it, and he's on the press thing. So Lauren has him back and has him host the show. And I remember he went out there, and his opening joke, he just comes out. And he was just like, something like this. Yeah, it's good to be back. You know, I actually got fired from this show about a year and a half ago because they said I wasn't funny. And now here I am. I'm hosting the show. So that means one of two things. Either I got a lot funnier or this show sucks.
Hi, man. What's up? How you doing? Was this too quick a transition? You know what I mean? Like 9, 10 black dudes in a row and then like the whitest man on the planet. Let your eyes adjust. I was watching George Bush today, man. I don't want to be a dick or anything, but could that guy like rehearse before he gives a speech? You know what I mean? Just say it like a couple of times. How awful was he during that hurricane? He's just walking out, man. He's just like winging it. Walking out on the White House lawn, there's like sun in his eyes. He's just out there like, there was a hurricane. People are wet. People don't like being wet unless they're swimming in a pool. He sounded like a little kid giving a book report who like didn't read the book. He's just up there making up shit like, there was a dog and he bit somebody and they didn't like it. Every night I gotta watch that idiot on the news, or they're doing stories about how fat kids are getting. You see that every night? Every night they're talking about kids are obese now. Not fat kids, not chubby, they're obese. Like bedridden. Like just laying there like, I had my first heart attack when I was 4. I was riding on my big wheel, I couldn't feel my left side, I began to pass out my head. Yo, I don't want to be a dick, but how do you get that fat that quick? I can see you're 30, 40 years old. You went to McDonald's for 20 years. You got a little gut going. But you're 5 years old. There's no excuse for that shit. I'm telling you, man, that's the parents' fault. You know, stop feeding him. He doesn't have any money. You know, seriously. He can't go get a job so he can go buy more food. He's got to eat whatever you give him. Just put a plate of seaweed right in front of him. Go ahead, eat it. I don't want to eat it. Good, go to bed. Those are your options. I own you until you're 18. Do some jumping jacks. No, but these parents are ridiculous. They act like they have no control. They're like, well, I don't know what to do. I mean, I tried to make him eat a salad, but he didn't want to eat it. He was like, no, I want a cupcake. I said, you can't have it. But then he sat on my chest, and I couldn't breathe, and I just wanted to get up after a while. People, you need tough love at that moment. If your kid is obese and he's still asking for cake, you got to be like, no, you little shit. You're eating carrots and celery until I can pick you up again. This is ridiculous. You got a goddamn hernia on your birthday. I know that seems harsh to be making fun of obese kids. I'll tell you why I'm doing it. They don't really exist. At least to the level that they're saying it's an epidemic. You know, which means when I leave the theater tonight, I should have, like, difficulty getting to my car because of all these fat fucking kids out there like, Jesus Christ, they're everywhere. They're like locusts.